think? No, actually, I'm right on. All right, welcome. Welcome. Today is the 11th of February, 2025. And I'm Mark, your host, coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. This is the Anyone Can Farm live chat. Talk about things having to do with homesteading and small farms and just plain living. And I got lots to talk about tonight. But you'll notice there wasn't really a title because I had a very busy day today, and I had a really good subject this morning as I was doing milk. Really good. And just like that, gone. I forgot about it. Today was kind of a rough one. It was cold. It's cold out now. Let's see. I think I just saw what it is. Well, in Cupertino, it's 82 degrees, but 18 degrees. And tonight, the low is going to be 4. And Wednesday, we're supposed to get some snow. Tomorrow, it's going to be cold too. And next week, we're down into the negatives as well. So hopefully that this is the last of the cold. Hopefully it starts to climb up from there, because February can be a rough month. It really can. But as soon as we hit March, things start looking a little bit better. And we're about halfway, it can get a little bit tough. So we got to just fight that back the best we can, fight that back. So today, my day kind of went like this. I had milk with Frank this morning, and then I had 3 new herd shares that were coming to the farm to see the place. And I'll see who we got here. We got Jay-Z, you got Sean Wise, Keith Sutton, and Belva. Right on. Haven't seen Jay-Z in a while. I bet you he catches this on the replay. We've been getting a lot of views on the replay lately. Ever since I made that video about the G word, glyphosate, wow, things really picked up. Notice nobody wants to say the word glyphosate. They don't want to say it. But until we start saying it, which pesticide, nothing's going to change. So we got 3 new herd shares today in one day. And last week, I got 3 new herd shares as well. And today, I think it was more like there was 3 families, but I think people were going to be getting more than 1 share, as I remember. And I should know because I sat down in the store and talked with them. And all 3 of them, we talked for quite a long time. It was like I had a lot of conversation today because all 3 of these people had found us through the internet, and one of the people said, well, I listened to one video that you made, and then I had like a marathon of videos. So the word's getting out there, and I'm glad of that. I'm really glad of that. I think that, well, I hope you know how I feel. I feel as though there is kind of like a tidal wave coming of people changing their way of life and just slowing down and realizing what is it that is important and not what is it that the buzz tells you is important. Because I don't know, anytime we go and stay someplace and they have a TV there and we watch TV, it's like I feel so behind the way everybody else is living. But then I shake myself and I say, I'm only here because I have to go do something. I don't really want to live like this. So I like the way I live. I actually love the way I live. I have a very good situation going on right now. And I hope it continues for the next 60 years. I really do. But the three people that I had today were very interesting, and all uh, have come to a place where they want to change their lifestyle. And so, they're coming here for herd shares because, like one of them, they had just got a piece of land and they're going to build a homestead, but they're commuting between another state. And they've kind of come across some of the material that I've put out, and they're like, hey, we'd like to get in on that herd share and start drinking raw milk. The other one was a family, and they're doing the same thing. They got to a place where they just did not trust what they're being told and the food that they were getting. And the last one was also a family. It was a mom and her two kids. And they had moved back here from southern Michigan down in the rat race and finally got out. Her husband works for Consumers Energy, I guess, and he finally got transferred back up here into the north. Really encouraged, and I have been. It's not like this pushes me over. I am just encouraged anyway at what I'm seeing. I don't really have a topic tonight. I want to tell you all what I did today and what I'm working on, and we'll kind of see where it goes from there. But there's a few people here that I would think that you could say, hey, why don't you talk about this? And let's see if I can wing it. I think Jay-Z could do something. All of you could do something like that. Maybe help me out a little bit. McKenna and Andrew are here. Hey, Mark, appreciate your dedication. Well, thanks. Thanks. I appreciate the fact that you appreciate it. A little slug of water here. I'm a tired pilgrim today. When it's cold like this, everything's a little bit more effort. And it probably adds up at the end of the day to a lot more effort. But I'm definitely sleeping good at night and getting plenty of good food. So all is well. I did some weekend. I did make a video, but I can maybe expound on it a little bit here. I went to a homeschool conference with Jill. And that's not something that I would normally go to, but I tell you what, I will never miss another one. Had a really good time. I don't know what it was like last year, so I can't really say, but Jill had a vendor table and we had a bunch of our stuff out on it and a bunch of information because the homeschool community is interested in health. They're interested in alternative ways. They're interested in homesteading. So Jill was presenting there. So I said that I would sit at the table and, hold the fort down. And I am sure glad that I did because I met a lot of really nice people. And there was a couple of people, specifically a lady that was sitting next to me just seemed really steady and calm. And I talked to her a little bit and heard her story. And it was actually quite an interesting story. She survived an abortion attempt. Her mother had tried to abort her and she survived it. And when she told me that, I just thought that's so deeply personal and weighty, heavy, but just a heavy thing. You didn't know what to say. So how about them Red Sox? But I just let her talk, and like that inner voice told me, just keep your mouth shut and just let her tell you what she said to tell you. So she did. And I'm not sure if it's what it is, an energy shift or something, but I've been seeing the magic in everything, it seems like lately. I don't know what is causing this, but when you're a little kid and you see something and you don't quite understand it and you think the best and there's magic in everything, it seems like. Well, that seems to be happening to me. And I just sat there and listened to her story and I thought, wow, what would be happening in this time if abortion had been successful? And what a decent, wonderful, beautiful human being is before me here that wouldn't be. And, she didn't hold anything against her mother. As a matter of fact, they became pretty good chums, and, there was a spiritual component to it. And if that wasn't enough, then there was another young lady that came to our table and was asking a bunch of questions. And she was a picture of wonder, when I looked at her. And she was great with child, really nice, and very interested in what was sitting on the table and what we were all about. And I talked with her for a long time. And she's just one question after another. And it's nice. It's flattering, I guess, when somebody is interested in what you do. And come to find out, she had seen some of the videos that I made, so she knew kind of who she was talking to. I didn't find that out until later in the conversation, but she looked over at the woman that was sitting next to me at the other vendor table, this woman who had survived the attempt. And I could tell that they knew each other. And I was like, "Is that your mom?" And she said, "Yes." So it was, I was very quiet on the way home because of that chain of events. And there were other things too. I met someone there that I had not seen in a long time, and she had gone through a really tough time, and that was kind of weighing on me as well. And then I saw friends that I haven't seen in a while, and they were doing great, and we had a good, but I was very quiet on the way home because of just the weight of all of that. And it wasn't bad. It was not bad. It was actually quite good. And when I launched into, so I had the day off on Saturday. When I got home, I fed a calf. And then I came in the house. It was cold. We got home late. And then when I launched into my week, it was with a completely different perspective. And then I found out that I was going to be meeting with 3 different groups of people today about herd shares. And I thought, am I ringing this out? Am I fulfilling my responsibility here? That's what I asked myself. Am I? Should I just run them through, get them through, pay your $10, take your gallon of milk and get out of here, get out of my face? And I sadly, I had the answer to that question was, yeah, like I put my work ahead of people sometimes. And I really had to answer the question. Yeah, I have done that. I've put my work ahead of people, even though a nice little voice over here will say, "Well, you do the Tuesday night show, you'd stop and talk with people." I wonder if I'm going into a phase where it's going to be the farm is done, it's complete, and then it's just a different landscape here where my role is different. I don't know. I'm up for it if that's what's supposed to happen. So I thought that was it was a pretty good thing. And we've made a lot of good relationships through this endeavor. And I hope that all of you that hear this say, I wonder if I'm ringing it out as good as I could, because a lot of times we just talk about the hardware of farming, but there's a lot of software too. The hardware being the nuts and bolts and the tools and how to and all that. But there's a lot of software as well. These are people, and we have people come to us all the time, and I realized they are totally lost, but it's not their fault. What have they got to hold on to? And you can see it in their faces when you converse and you're on the same page maybe that validates the way that they feel, right? And to me, maybe I come across as, well, this is reality. This is reality, and it is to me. And I think, moreover, I lived in a different world before. I lived there, and I had a kind of a thing that happened. Well, anyway, so to finish that thought, I lived in a different world where it was not about the people, it was about the mission. Get the mission done. And that's all this interpersonal stuff is it's just, and it didn't go well. People did not get along as good as they could have. And I was probably to blame with a lot of that as well, because I wasn't really happy with what I was doing. I was doing what I said I was going to do, but I don't think I was really happy with it. So I'm very glad that I picked the direction that we did, and I'm so grateful that the times that I wanted to quit, I didn't. There was a good 3 times where I was saying to Jill, you know what? We just need to, cool this and go do a real job, And I'm glad we just didn't follow through on it. It's really hard to quit a farm. It's going to take a long time to quit a farm, unless you can just have somebody move in the house, leave all your stuff, and go. It would be hard, and that is probably never going to happen. So it's a real hard thing to quit a farm, and then you can't tell the animals the next day, well, I quit, so you're on your own. It's impossible to quit. There's a saying, wanted to quit 100 times, I just never did. So I'm glad I never did. And now I'm not at the place where I want to quit. Once in a while, when it's cold and things are not going so good, you have this feeling like, what am I doing this for? But then some things happen and you get a victory and you say, whoa, all right, we're going in the right direction. And honestly, it is not, you don't have that warm, fuzzy feeling, or I don't have that warm, fuzzy feeling when we get, oh, great, three new herd shares last week. Good. But it doesn't give me that warm, fuzzy feeling that, like today, conversing with these people, really being able to provide them something that they really, really want or need, because it was more than just a gallon of milk. It's much more than that, right? Our herd share people are in person, more like what you guys are that come and listen to this show for whatever reason every week. So it's kind of like that, it's way deeper. And I'm not sure if I even know how deep it goes. I just keep finding a little more and a little more and a little more. And that's why I keep coming back, right? That's why, and I don't know if I even want to share this, if it'll even make any sense so you guys think I'm going off the deep end. But I dream a lot. I have a lot of dreams. And I have a tendency to have bad dreams that run in succession. And they're usually having to do with my Air Force career. And it's not, there was really ugly, gross, terrible things that I saw and was part of, but it's not those things. It's the little things. It's just the little tiniest things where I'm at a place and I'm the being treated like a little kid or something. I'm the one that's being treated like an irresponsible that nobody wants to talk to. And those are things. I don't know why. Or that I miss a plane. I'm late to getting on an airplane, and I get stuck someplace, in some weird country. And those ones are bad, but not as bad as the other ones. And I had one the other night, and it was the same scenario. Only thing was, I had the upper hand because I was the one that everybody needed to look to give the answers, and I had the upper hand in this scenario, right? And that was the first time I'd had that, and I came out of that and I thought, wow, is this some sort of shift? Because I wasn't the bad guy. I don't know. Maybe it's something that happened in my childhood or something. Who knows? I don't know. But anyway, enough about me. Let's hit on some of these questions here. Yeah, it's cold. Yeah, it's really cold. 9 degrees. Okay, Keith wants to talk about animal feeds for cold weather. What precautions do you install? We just kind of went through this. I lost the calf, and then I had another calf that was on the brink, and I wound up having the vet come. I told you about this, and he said, "These guys need groceries," he said. "They're not getting enough, and this cold weather is draining them. You guys sleep in warm beds. They sleep out here. They're cold all night." So what I started doing was making sure that they had full feeders all the time. If the feeder is empty, I am right there to fill it, and they are at it all the time. These are calves. And then you want them to have an extra shot of energy. So in my case, Keith, I've got all that bread, and so I'm giving quite a bit of it to the calves. And it's just keeping them energized up so their bodies are just making a ton of heat. It can be freezing cold out, and you go out and put your hand on that calf's back, and it's just warm, just so warm. He is not cold, but he is losing heat, so he's got to replenish that. So his digestive system is working really hard to do that, and it's my job to make sure he can get enough to eat. So you always give him extra rations when it's going to be cold, like you want to get them pumped up, and then when you get through it, back them down to where they should be. Calves don't need a lot of grain. They really don't. They should do okay on good quality hay or even bad quality hay. They'll just have to eat more. But I'd like to stack the deck when I can, and so that's what I do. All right, Jay-Z, how about a topic of your goals and ambitions for the next 10 months? I like that. I had a conversation with the boys the other morning. This is the way this goes is my morning goes kind of like this. I get up, come out to the wood stove, grab a cup of coffee. On my way by, me and Jill are sitting there and just talking and looking at the news and whatever's going on. And then I usually head out this door right here, strip down to my swimming attire, and then get in that trough I usually have to break the ice on that trough and get in. And I stay in there for a couple, 3 minutes until I'm cold. I'm cold. And then I get out, come in here, dry off, and I go in, get dressed, put on my play clothes. And then I swing by the coffee pot, grab another one, and I take that one out the door with me. I go right down into the milk house. That's where I report for work in the morning. And I start getting things ready. I start getting the jars washed, start getting the milk machine put together, turn the heat up a little in there, take my jacket off about that time. And things just start coming to me, like all the potential that's here and all the things that are happening in the world, and some of those things that have happened in the world, with that interview that we did with the Kennedy people and all that. Um, there's just a lot happening, and I say to myself, I'm on the right track. I am on the right track. Bear down, get this done, get it done right, and I go to it. And yesterday, the boys came in, and I said, you are equal partners in this with me and Mom. So it's just me and my two boys here now, and Jill. Rachel's getting married the first of next month. She does not really work with us that much anymore. She milks with me on Friday and gets it done. Then she's gone. She's not really around here during the day. She's either on doing clinicals or, visits or something. She's going to be a midwife. So she's gone. So it's just me and the two boys. Jim's 15, Frank's 13. And I said, what we probably should do is lay out the work for the week. And I'll just say, this is what I'm going to need you guys to do this week. You get it done. I'm not going to say, I want you to do this today or this today or this today. And say, I'm just going to say, this is what we need to do. And Jim was just getting over like a congestion in his chest and a head cold. And I said, this is what needs to be done this week. I need 2 pigs on the table so we can get them broken down and processed. We're totally out of fat. And that hasn't been the case for a long time. As you may know, like, we had so much pig fat and we didn't know what to do with it. Little victory there. We had the idea of getting that rendered down and put in jars and then put a label on it and put it in the store. And it is gone. It's gone. I think we got 3 jars left in there of pig and probably about 4 of beef. And that's out of probably 50 each, just gone. And so that's a victory. So I got 4 pigs left on the field that are big, 400 pounders. And we want to get them in before their fat starts to go away on towards spring. And so I told them that, you're coming to the place where you're going to have to chart your own course in life. You got to figure out what you want to do, who you want to be. And don't look at it like 10 months out. Look at it next week, what you want, and the week after, what you're going to want to do this summer. And I'm hitting them from the point of view of, you work, you get paid. You get paid, you can buy your own Jeep. You can have a car if you want. And they're getting on towards that age when that's going to happen. So I said, you guys need to plot your course. You gotta figure out where you want to go. And I think that's something that we all have to do, right? So Jay-Z's asking me this, and I will tell you some of the things that I know that are coming this year and how I want to meet those things. And I'm not going to give these in any particular order because I'm not real prepared to do this, but I want to develop lodging here on this farm for people. I would really like it if people come that we know through this, maybe if we had an Airbnb here that had a bathroom and a shower and all that stuff, and it was nice, comfortable, really nice, that they would say, yes, I will come and I will rent that and I will stay at the farm for 2 days because I'd like to meet you guys and I'd like to walk around and see what goes on there and become inspired. So I want to develop that. And we're 80% of the way on the apartment. That project kind of stalled because of the heat arrangement over there. And I thought that Rachel would be around more to keep it heated, and she's not. So, I can't very well turn the water on and just have it freeze up. So we kind of put that on hold until we get through these cold months, and then we're going to get back after that. So that's one of the things that I want done. And that's going to be a nice Airbnb. It's got some nice facilities. It's got a nice walkout onto the field, and it's close, good parking, all that stuff. That'll be that'll be really nice to have here because I think people will take advantage of it. And then I want to develop the campground as well. There's a couple projects going on out there, but we're on hold now for the winter. So I'd like to get back after that in the spring. That is more doable now. I've got a guy that works for us that worked for us all summer, last summer on chickens. And then we kind of moved him into large animal processing, and he's helped with opening bread and just doing chores, putting up insulation and stuff. And he'll come 5 days a week if he wants, if I need him. But usually we're using him about 3 days. And so he'll be coming tomorrow. We've got 2 pigs on the table, so he'll be working on those. And I got another guy that's a herd share that is helping out now, and he's a really good worker, comes out of Utah. And yeah, he's got a job that he didn't like too much. I want to get to the place where I can take on full-time guys. I want to get there. That's my goal, right? And we're close. We're close. We just have to do the process more to generate more dollars so we can pay these guys. But they're doing more than what I'm paying them. You know, that's the nature of that. So I'd like to develop that work program. The lodging, I want that developed. Milk, I mean, I'm aiming at 10 cows. 10 cows, milking 10 cows. 2 groups of 5. When we get there, that's a game changer, you know, because of the amount of dollars that come in. But the trick to doing that is every gallon of milk that's produced has to go to a person, because we're not doing a bulk tank, and I don't want to do a bulk tank. I considered it a lot, but I'm not going to do that. The milks get strained and put in jars and put in the cooler. But it has to leave. It can't hang around for 2 days because there wouldn't be enough room for it. And I don't want a system where we are accumulating lots and lots of milk and then hopefully people come get it. You don't want to do that. You want to have it all matched up. And Jill's got a tremendous system. Every Monday I get a printout, and it says, Tuesday, we got this many people that are getting milk. Today, I was short 3 gallons. So I had to call Aaron Esch and said, hey, are you coming today or tomorrow? And he said, tomorrow. So I said, great, because he gets 3 gallons. He gets 3 shares. So I want to continue with the milking operation because I see it as a cash flow scenario. You know, if we can get to 10 cows and get that going, that will cash flow the entire operation. And then we still have our other processes that we do, like butchering cattle, butchering pigs. Pigs is paying. Pigs is paying. Pigs is paying. Cows is paying. Chickens is paying. So they're all doing well. Let's see. This year, I'm going to change up the way I do my field fertilization. What I've been doing, and this just occurred to me the other day as I was doing something else. It's like, what am I doing? I've been collecting up the manure from various places where the cows congregate in the wintertime, and there's a lot. And putting it in the truck and then take it over to the composting area and start working it over, piling it and turning it and all that. And then I was loading it back in the truck, taking it out to the field that I want to fertilize, dumping it, and then going out there with a spreader, loading the spreader, making a couple shots, load again, make a couple shots. But I'm going to change that. I'm going to start composting on the field that I want to fertilize. So once I load the truck, I'm going to take it directly there and dump it and compost it there. I'll still have a composting area over here, but that's going to be the hot pile. I call it the hot pile. And that's where all the feathers And if we wind up having a dead animal or something like that, that goes there. A dead cow, anything goes there. That's the hot pile. That's the pile that's just steaming. I wouldn't want to do that out on the field because then you have bone issues and things like that. So I'm going to do that, and I want to work harder on fertilizing my fields with my compost. I want to get a load of lime in so I can mix it in. I want to be mixing biochar in right off. So that means I need to increase my biochar production, which I can do that. I mean, I've used just about everything that I produced. Oh, we sold a ton of that Saturday. Not a ton, but about 7, 8 bags. So that's quite a bit. I'm surprised that people even know what it is at a homeschool conference, but people are kind of drawn to it for some reason. So that, I would say, a fertilization program that I want to put more time into. And I should be at a place where I can do that by spring, before we cut hay. I want to do it before I cut. Let's see, what else? Oh, I got another thing going. We are going to build a brooder and put it in the store. And just like they do at Tractor Supply, where you have that area where all the chicks are. And yeah, I think people coming in and out of the store, they're going to say, oh, I want to have some chickens. So I think we'll develop that. Anything that doesn't sell will go to our flock, which is not a big deal. I mean, eggs are a hot commodity. They look like they're going to be for a while. Another thing is, and I've given this a lot of thought, and I've even done some things on it that have failed, but I have a contract with a company in Traverse City, and now I'm it. So all the bread that they take off the shelf comes here, every bit of it. None of it goes to the food bank or any place else. Any of the other farms that were doing it were unreliable for them, and they would wind with bread that they couldn't get rid of. So I've got to deal with her, and I'm taking it all. But in order to do that, I couldn't just do it like we were doing, where they dump it in the back of my 2-ton, and then we would work out of the 2-ton, get it all gone, and then it's full again. So then the 2-ton was full and I couldn't use it. So what I did is I modified a building, put doors on it that flip down so the truck backs up to the building, and when he dumps it, it's going right into the building, onto a dry floor, under a roof. But there was way more than I could use. So it started becoming a liability again. And we have found that trying to give it away does not work. It does not work. But I've been putting it in these baskets, the IBC totes. We take the liner out of the IBC tote and then fill it. 500 pounds in it. I've got some bigger ones now that I'm going to be going to, and they're like 600 pounds. And then sell it for $30. It's 600 pounds of feed for $30. And I've had some success with that. And I think that will grow too. But what's $30? What I want to do is I want to figure out a way to run that bread through a hammer mill and make a really good chicken feed out of it that I can bag and put in the store for people that get chickens from us. And the problem is going to be with that is the bread has a moisture content, which is a good thing for the chickens, but it's bad for the longevity of that prepared feed. If you leave it too long, it'll go. So I think what I'll do is I will, two things. I'll be mixing a mineral pack in there, and a lot of it is salt. So that will hold it a little bit longer, not forever, but a little bit longer. And then I would like to sell primarily to our herd share people, because they're coming once a week anyway, so they could come get their milk and get their feed. And it could be less expensive than the feed that you get at the mill, and you would know that it's wholesome. The stuff you get at the mill, you have no idea how old that corn was, where it came from, how it was treated. You have no idea. Once it's ground up, the chickens eat it. Sometimes they perform well, sometimes they don't. And you don't really know, right? But this you will know. And we're going to use it on our own chickens too. So that's a big thing. And here's what I've done so far. Maybe you can help me with this, JZ. I tried to chop that bread up several different ways. I even got an auger, like an ice auger, and it didn't work by itself. I thought it would. I thought there'd be enough action pulling it from the bottom up and over the top. It didn't. It didn't break it up. I need it to be broken up into like breadcrumbs, because I want to be mixing kelp in there and biochar and probably some pea meal, field peas that are ground. And I found all that stuff. But I have to have a way of breaking that bread up. And so I have a hammer mill here that we grind the biochar with. So I'm going to try the hammer mill. If the hammer mill works, then I think what probably I'm going to do is I'm going to look around for a grinder mixer. And those have a hammer mill on it. And then I'll be able to actually mix the feed as well. And then it has a chute you can offload it, an auger chute, you can offload it. So I'm still working on that. And yeah, so that's another thing that I want done. Another thing that really needs to get done is my beef cows, although they choose to not take cover from the cold, I would like to have a shelter down there for them, just so they can get out of the wind. Because I'm noticing now that the ones that we are not going to butcher this year, that we're going to butcher next year, they are actually losing weight, right? I'm starting to see they're not as beefy as they were. I got one more of them to do. He's massive, and so he's not having any problems. Yeah, so I've got a plan for that. And you may remember the hoop building that was here, the Clearspan building that blew away. I've still got the hoops. So I'm going to set those I'm going to set half of them on a pony wall made out of concrete. And then I'm going to go over the top of this thing with steel. And then across the back of it with steel. And then prevent the cows from getting near the steel somehow, like with an electric standoff or something. So I got to do that too. That's going to be kind of a big project, but that has to be done. And while I'm at it, I need one for the milk cows as well. They come in the barn right now, but as cold as it is, we've got a bedding pack in there that's probably 3 feet high, and it needs to get cleaned out. But I can't get in there with the tractor until we disassemble everything. But that'll be in the spring. That's not going to happen now because that bedding pack is solid. So there's not much I can do. So I would like to see those done this summer as well. Both those shelters built. So there you go. There's 10 months worth of stuff. Easy. All right. I got to find me a grinder mixer. Okay, Andrew. Castrating a piglet tonight. If you want to say anything on that, always open to learning. Have you had any complications doing it? No. There's a video on Baker's Green Acres YouTube that's got a lot of views of us castrating pigs, and I had them do a up close how I did it, so you could watch that. We do it the same way all the time. We usually go out with a single bladed razor blade. I have a bottle of hydrogen peroxide that has a little squirty tip on it. That's it. That's all and a bale of straw. And so the person that's holding the pig holds the pig by the back feet, their belly facing the pig's belly, so belly to belly, and then they swing it between their legs and kind of sit on it. Not actually sit on it, but just enough weight that you can hold it. And then they pull the legs back, and I'm usually sitting on a bucket right in front of them. And I take my fingers and push the testicles down, and then just try to make as small as of a cut as you can. It usually winds up being about a half an inch, maybe a little more. And then squeeze that little testicle out of there and cut it off. And then what you do is you put them all in a pile so you'll know how many pigs you did. So you'll count the testicles, right? And divide by 2. If you get an odd number of testicles, something's wrong here, Something's wrong. Yeah, we wind up taking that handful of testicles and throwing it into the pigs, and the mother pigs eat it. You don't want to try and eat them. All right. Because we did. We tried one time. It tastes like urine. All right. Curious. If there are crops besides grain and corn that store well for winter use for mangalitsa, preferably things that can be harvested without specialty equipment. Yeah, there's a bunch, and I'll do you one better than equipment to harvest them. Any of the turnips, purple top turnips. So if you have a field, like let's say you have a field where you keep your pigs on, and then hopefully you have another one, and hopefully you have 3. If you have 3 fields, then you'd be doing what I do. And you plant purple top turnips probably in August. Yeah, August, middle of August. And then by November, December even, they're done growing. The tops are up. And if you let pigs in there, even when it's freezing cold and ground is like a rock, they will get those turnips out of there and they'll eat them. And you don't have to harvest. They'll harvest them. So you can cut your feed dramatically by doing that. And you don't have to store them. They just sit in the ground. And you can get creative with that. You can, I feed a lot of rye. I grow a lot of rye. Rye just grows really well here. So I usually get about 3 different growths off of my fields. I have 3 fields that I grow pigs out on. There is nothing out there now. They've eaten everything. So we're just feeding them bread and hay. They eat straw too. I don't know why, but they eat it. And there's a lot of energy in straw. They eat it. And then anything from the house, I guess. But they do eat hay. Are we talking mangalitsas here? Yeah, mangalitsa. They'll eat hay. Don't think that if you drop hay in there and you drop something like bread in there that they're going to go to the hay first, because they won't. It's only when you kind of force them, and it's not like a child. They're just going to eat, and then if there's no more bread, then they will eat whatever is there. So they will eat hay, and they actually do pretty good on hay. Because there was times when I did not have the bread contract, and had a lot of hay. We didn't have a lot of cows then. I fed a lot of hay to them. And you don't really need much equipment to do that. To plant a field with turnips, all you really need is you can just throw the seed out and then drag something over it so you can get some of the seeds in. on the field, like let's say you're going to move them onto a field, before you move them on that field, throw seeds out in the field that they're on. And they'll, through walking around and stuff, they will push those seeds in. And then when you move them, those seeds will germinate and take off. You can't leave them in there and let the seeds germinate because they'll nip off every little green shoot that comes up. They'll just nip it off. I don't feed corn. Grain, if you buy grain out of the field, like a guy that's actually growing it, and let's say he's combining it, and you can come alongside and take a load from him. The problem with that is sometimes you're going to get heavy grain because it's not dry. And so you're going to pay more per pound for that. The pigs will like it better, but it doesn't store if it's not dry. It'll mold pretty quick. Not that the pigs won't eat it, they will, but if the mold gets in too far, it actually is depleting all the value, the feed value of it. So I think that if I was you, I'd be thinking scrounge right about now. I'd be thinking, what is out there that if I take it off somebody's hands, they will be happy that I did, and my pigs will be happy because I give it to them. So even if you have to drive a little bit, sometimes you can get restaurant scraps. Depending on what kind of community you live in, like there used to be an IGA downtown, and for a long time, they would just take everything out and throw it in the dumpster. And so we used to hit that dumpster like religiously, and we would pull some really good stuff out of there for the pigs. I mean, the pigs would eat it, but nowadays, if I found some Sara Lee or something like that, I guess I'd feed it to the pigs, but I don't see it as really good stuff. But any produce or anything like that, but put your thinking cap on, because their sources are actually. Where do you live, Pat H? Maybe you should be checking with me on bread. I can give you big loads of bread, cheap, and it's really good feed. Not give, sell. I'll sell it to you very inexpensively. Nope, giving stuff away doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I don't know why. So there you go. Let's see what else we got here. Just Me is saying hello. Brian Jacob is saying evening. Loretta, thank you. Maybe try drying it before you grind it, like on a wood burner top. Yeah, but that's labor intensive. Yeah, I did Brian saying, have you run the bread through the wood chipper yet? Yes. The problem with the wood chipper is the throat on it is about 6 by 6. So if you put a loaf in there and it cocks to one side, nope, it's not going through. So then you got to be up there with something to push it through. And when the wood chipper grabs it, it's gone. So if you're using a rake handle, it'll put, and I know this, it'll take it right in. If so, yeah, and it didn't work. It didn't really shred. It shredded it, but it didn't break it up the way I wanted it to. I want it to be like breadcrumbs. There's machines that you can buy, and they're pretty expensive, but they make breadcrumbs. And who knows? It might be worth it to me to drop 50,000 on one of those things. Drying racks surrounding the wood burner might be limited to quantity per day. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that'd go over. Oh, well, Pat, you're just 30 minutes north of Traverse City. So it'd be 2 hours to me. And you could take home 1,200 pounds in a pickup truck for $60. That's a no-brainer. I'll see you this weekend. Just call me before you come. And be prepared to be loading bread. Let's see, what's it going to be this weekend? Ooh, Saturday. You come Saturday, it's going to be 29 degrees. It's like Miami Beach. Make sure you bring your swimsuit. 29. I mean, that's pretty warm compared to where it's been. 9 right now. 8 right now. All right. Got a load of wood yesterday. It's better wood than I've been getting, and put some in last night, and it heated the house up really good. Really, really good. Slept in relative comfort last night. All right, well, kind of a short show tonight, 8:56. We're a little short, so I'm going to have to go in and do some quality assurance tests on some steaks that we cut last week to see if they're up to speed. Is there anything else? All right. What's coming up is May. We're going to be doing the seed exchange. That was fun last year. We had a good time. Much better weather. Had a really nice field day on a Saturday. It was an all-day event. We had a really nice time. And then the next thing after that is going to be in July, I believe, or maybe June. I think we're going to be doing well, I shouldn't say that, because I think maybe we're going to change our the way that we do chicken classes, because I don't know as we're serving the public the way we should by having 20 people in a class and it's just a one-day thing. I'm not sure if that's working out so good. A lot of people come and I've heard good things, but I just don't think it's enough time to do that. So we're kicking around an idea of sort of a like a work shadow program. So on a day when we're going to process chickens, we will schedule people to shadow us. And there'll be instruction along the way, of course, but it'll be like a full day and you'll really get to the point where you understand the whole chicken processing thing. So we're kicking that idea around right now. Keith says, what did you think of the cookie recipe I sent you? You sent me a cookie recipe? I didn't see it. And I'm not the cookie cooker around here. But I'm sure somebody saw it. All right. Well, if that's it, I'm going to call it quits for the night. Good to see y'all. We will have the consulting call tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Zoom call. It's been working out really well. If you guys want to get in on that, you want to come and be face-to-face and ask questions about your farm operation, maybe the direction that you want to go, and you want to kind of run it past me. It's consulting, and it's good consulting. So it's not hard to get in on that. You just got to be a Tribe Plus member. And if you want to do that, you go to acresgreenacres.com and follow the links. It's a paid thing. But that's what it costs. All right. I'm going to get going. Remember, anyone can farm. Good night now.